Welcome to the continuation of the Virtual Lead Marketing Conference, which focuses on loyalty, engagement, analytics, and digital applications. I'm your host, John Karolewski. Thank you for joining us. We have two more presentations today on topics such as trade promotion management and pricing and customer loyalty. Please stay with us for both of them. But first, some housekeeping items to keep in mind as we go forward. Although attendees are in a listen-only mode, this conference is very interactive. If you have questions, and our speakers love questions, please type them in the chat box in the lower left of your screen. We'll answer them along the way as time allows. Now, between each presentation, there will be a CPG and retail trivia quiz for valuable prizes, including the grand prize of a Fitbit fitness tracker. Our next presentation deals with trade promotion management, and our presenter is Rick Pensa, President and CEO of CPGToolBox. Rick, take it away.
Thank you, John, and thanks for everybody for joining our presentation. The question that I'd like to talk about is what is happening within the trade promotion management ecosystem. So if you look over time, you can see that trade promotion has evolved from literally the good old days of pen and paper, or maybe even a stone tablet era, to the spreadsheets, into on-premise client-server types of application, and then into the cloud. The question is, why are so many CPG manufacturers still doing trade promotion management on spreadsheets? They would appear to be one or two generations behind the curve of the technology trend. If you look at what's going on within the TPM IT landscape, what's trending is a greater desire for one global solution, a solution that will work in Malaysia, Brazil, Germany, and the U.S., all in a similar type of manner, yet applying to local market needs and so forth. There's an entire movement to go less customization, make it simple, make it easier for users to use tools, and not get caught into a deeply customized tool that you can't get out of. A user-friendly experience, more business intelligence, and the question is, do you have to spend $1 million these days to have a world-class trade promotion management solution? Well, the needs of the CPG manufacturers are also growing and changing over time, and that is the desire for scalability. Maybe you start out with just your region management team, and now you move it over to your broker team as well. Simplicity is really the name of the game, and low cost of ownership is really critical these days, as more and more is being expected with less and less. Of course, meaningful analytics and reports and 24/7 access to data is critical as well. So in this whole era of innovation, Salesforce.com has been noted as the most innovative company by Forbes magazine 4 years in a row. And they bring so much to the platform. A company that started out as a CRM tool almost 20 years ago is now a platform tool, and they are a global leader in CRM, but they have really defined the era of cloud computing, and consequently have almost coined the phrase PaaS, platform as a service. We all know the phrase SaaS, software as a service, but Salesforce has really done a great job of taking that whole platform approach to the cloud. And so what would happen if we could take dynamic, robust trade promotion management tools and actually add them to the Salesforce cloud? Doing things like predictive analytics, exciting things like interactive calendars and promotion calendars, deduction management, anytime access, tracking and auditing trade promotions and connecting them to their respective promotional activities. So what would happen if we could do that? And what would that bring to the party in terms of innovation and functionality? And so the question is, what would the benefits be of taking trade promotion management into the Salesforce cloud? Well, just a couple are really pretty powerful. Real-time data analytics. You don't have to wait overnight for a report engine to run. Or mobility, literally being able to see dashboards and reports and your activity, your trade activity right on your cell phone as you're walking into an account. And of course, Salesforce is noted for being built to allow sales users a UI that's easy for them to work around in. And from an affordability perspective, Salesforce.com is in the industry is noted to be about 54% of the total cost of ownership of most on-premise products. And then speed to market, speed of the user interface, and speed of learning are also great benefits of the Salesforce cloud.
Quick question that came in, Rick.
Yes, sir.
Is TPM plus Salesforce just a configuration of standard Salesforce screens?
Oh, that's a great question. The best tools built on Salesforce are really tools that actually have secret sauce. They're not just a reconfiguration of CRM screens. They really are screens that are made and developed for a particular point solution, and in this case, trade promotion management. For example, interactive promotion calendar that you can move, literally drag and drop events on a calendar. Those are all unique to trade promotion management, but yet they're built on the infrastructure and all of that Salesforce brings to the party. And some of those things that Salesforce does bring to the party are very quick upgrades. Some of the reasons that a lot of on-premise companies get stuck in an 8-year-old or 10-year-old highly customized, configured trade promotion management solution is because the move out of it would literally break all of the back-end integration and would literally have to be a complete reintroduction, a rebuild of a whole new system. Salesforce has what they call a 5-minute upgrade. Salesforce comes out with 3 major releases a year, and those releases all bring new innovation each time that release is brought out. Another advantage on Salesforce is that you can deploy trade promotion in any language and in any currency, and then bring it all back to the parent currency, which whether it be dollars or whatever. Of course, you've got built-in CRM, you've got military-grade security and scalability, and then you have the ecosystem. So there are many tools that you can literally bolt on to trade promotion on the Salesforce.com platform. For example, there are tools that you can use to present or prepare customer-facing documents. So unique retailer unique deal contracts, for example, might be an example of utilizing other opportunities and tools on the ecosystem. So what are the advantages of moving into the Salesforce cloud for trade promotion management? It doesn't matter whether you're in 1 user or 1,000 or even 10,000 users. The tool just works. What breaks a lot of on-premise tools is the fact that the infrastructure and the response time for the tools just simply tend to drag down to a halt the more users you put on the tool. Deployment time is cut by 3/4. For example, what used to take 18 months to deliver can now be delivered in 12 weeks. Cost is reduced by 54%. That's an industry average. We have seen cost on our tool reduced by 1/10 of on-premise tools. Help desk support is reduced. There are built-in and intuitive features, and it's 100% cloud-based, which means there's no infrastructure, no hardware, no expenses for managing all that on-premise. So, with all of these advantages, why wouldn't CPG companies abandon Spreadsheet? I'm getting that feedback, but why wouldn't CPG companies abandon Spreadsheet to move into the cloud? we've got a little survey here. I'd like to ask the audience, why do you think more manufacturers for CPG companies are not moving off of spreadsheets and moving into newer technologies such as the cloud? We'll take a few minutes to let you record your answers. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll and go to the results, and let's see what the results look like here. Wow, so more than 2/3 are wrapped up and don't know about the solution as an opportunity, and fear of change. Let's look at some of the myths that may be coming out of this whole thing. So if we take a look at one question is, do I have to be a Salesforce user to be able to run TPM on Salesforce? And so our product happens to have an embedded Force.com OEM license in it. So what you pay for a particular license will also bring with it the whole Salesforce capabilities, from limited CRM to all the reports and dashboards, to unique customization and configuration to meet a client's needs. And the next myth is that TPM tools are built and managed by two guys in a garage with a dog. That's a great question. And so Salesforce is very selective about and only forms partnerships with companies who have a particular key point of service tool and with providers who have deep domain expertise. And I can tell you that the CPG industry is a great target for Salesforce.com. They want to expand their footprint in the CPG industry, and having a tool that addresses a mission-critical business needs, such as trade promotion management. A little factoid, the average CPG manufacturer spends between 15 and 25% of their gross revenues on trade promotion, and that trade promotion management line typically is number 2, 3, or 4 in most companies. And so Salesforce wants to be able to be a part of the solution for such an opportunity as that. Another myth is that my peers and my competitors aren't going this route, or they don't know about this route. And we can tell you that there's a resounding, well, yes, they are. And so what's happening is that Gartner has reviewed TPM on the Salesforce.com platform. There'll be a write-up about trade promotion management on Salesforce in the Tech Solution Guide coming up this month. And companies within the natural and organic world, the pharma world, snacks, pet, and center store are buying this tool and are buying TPM on the Salesforce.com platform. A couple of our proud clients are Slimfast. Slimfast was originally owned by Unilever, and it was spun off to another company, and that company had a very fast turnaround requirement to get up and running. And so they were up and running in 120 days, which also included the implementation of a Sage ERP, their ERP platform, Sage X3, and that was connected to Salesforce. And Salesforce already was an existing product within the company that bought Slimfast, and so it was a natural extension of their Salesforce understanding and learning to go with TPM on Salesforce. And Karen von Dongen had a comment saying that enhancing the existing Salesforce platform with CPGToolBox was a very cost-effective investment, which cut costs for deductions, trade spending costs, and really brought in company-wide transparency to trade spending. Lotus Bakeries is another company. They're on SAP, and they had a ton of spreadsheets to do a number of their processes, from their LE process, obviously tracking their trade promotion management, and their entire AOP and COPA process were all on spreadsheets, and that has now been moved or is moving into the Salesforce ecosystem to be able to cut a lot of the duplicate entry and duplicate activity in spreadsheets out of the equation. So Salesforce plus TPM is credible, it's proven, it's accepted by many clients, and that acceptance is really growing by leaps and bounds. Month over month, we're seeing more and more people come to Salesforce saying, help me with my TPM process. Salesforce plus TPM is best-in-class functionality and user experience. Salesforce plus TPM is also an affordable alternative to spreadsheets. Spreadsheets to manage the number 2 or 3 item on a company's balance sheet is really an invitation for error, for much work that doesn't need to be done, duplicate entries and that sort of thing. So the question is, do you need to go in and finish another year on spreadsheets trying to make them work, or is it time to move to the cloud and move to the next generation of trade promotion management? Salesforce has a powerful capability in that regard. My name is Rick Pensa, and I would be happy to entertain any questions that you might have about the subject.
Hey, we've got a few questions that have come in, Rick. One, can I create customized reports and dashboards on my own, or do I have to rely on support?
Oh, that's a great question. Salesforce is noted for their end-user reporting and dashboarding capabilities. I'm looking at one of the participants. I won't call his name out because I don't want to embarrass him, but there's a gentleman on this call who works for one of the companies that I just highlighted, and he is a region manager within that company in a large part of their market, and he has actually driven their entire dashboard and reporting capability. So he knows the business. He learned how to use Salesforce for reporting and dashboarding. So he married the two components together, his knowledge of the business and his knowledge of Salesforce, and he's really driven the understanding of data within the Salesforce tool within his organization.
Okay, another question, Rick. Are there any limitations with integrating to ERP systems or other business solutions?
That's another good question. So integration is every one of these TPM projects, primarily because a TPM solution is fairly data hungry. So the types of data integration that we typically come up against obviously would be the customer hierarchy, product hierarchy, their actual invoice sales, but we also bring into our tool other data points such as distributor to retailer sales data, fondly known as spend data, and also syndicated data. So integration is critical, but the interesting thing about the Salesforce APIs is they're very open, very easy to work with, and of course, obviously, the data architect and the data model of the tool that you're integrating to and from are critical, and so those tools exist to be able to connect virtually every ERP system to Salesforce, whether it be SAP, Oracle, NetSuite, Sage, you name it. The tools exist to connect those two ERP or the ERP system to Salesforce very easily.
Okay, our last question, Rick, it's a little aggressive too, but it says, you said a TPM plus Salesforce system is really easy to use. Well, can you prove it?
Well, yes, if you will call me up and let me give you a demo, I will happily prove it. But I think the key to the answer to that question is can you, in as easily as possible manner, duplicate the input time of putting a trade plan into a spreadsheet, and we think that we can actually beat that. We would love to do a foot race with you to take 20 events and see who puts them in a system quicker. In Salesforce or on a spreadsheet, we'd like to take that challenge. But we think that ease, like beauty, is in the eyes of the beholder, and when you can take the time that it takes to put in the data into a spreadsheet, but then make it globally visible across the organization, we think that's a win for everybody at every level of that organization.
Okay, Rick, that's all the questions that I see over there. So attendees, to learn more about the information presented in this webinar, please email Rick at rpensa@cpgtoolbox.com. I'm sure he'd be very happy to give you a demo, a personal demo, and answer any further questions that you may have about the information presented in this webinar. So thank you, Rick. Excellent job.